What is happening, you guys? Welcome back to the Let's Go Win podcast, where we are here to help you be happy, healthy, wealthy, and get better every single day. You're in for a treat today. We have a very interesting guy, somebody that has lived an interesting life and continues to do so. We're going to cover a lot of ground in this interview, no doubt about it. Charles Cormier is a dynamic entrepreneur and the CEO of Top Leads, a company specializing in business-to-business lead generation. He has a reputation for being a cold email expert and has a history of significant achievements in sales, closing over $20,000 in new monthly recurring revenue every month for more than 100 months. Cormier is also known for his extensive experience in podcasting, interviewing over 1,100 CEOs, and participating in numerous mastermind sessions. Beyond his business endeavors, he is committed to personal growth and well-being, valuing physical fitness, meditation, and family time. His career path is marked by a blend of entrepreneurial success, thought leadership in sales and marketing, and a passion for innovation. Well, I'm blessed to have Charles on the show, man. I had a chance to be on your show and had a great time, but I have to ask you, brother, it looks like you're moving as we're talking. So those people that are watching you on YouTube, they're going, what in the world is Charles doing? What are you doing, man?
Walking on a tread. So preparing for 100K. And the logic is, keep on moving my body for a full day. That's what I'll do, and I'll be running that 100K, but I'll be running the full day instead of just walking. It's quite healthy. Einstein used to have a lot of his ideas when walking, so sort of reproducing that, and my body and mind loves it.
All right, so you just casually dropped this 100K thing like, oh, yeah, just, 100K. We're not talking dollars here. We are talking 100 kilometers. That's intense, brother. How did you get into the long distancing? That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, and which one is harder in your opinion, making 100K or running 100K?
Not even running 100K. It's not even close. Like making 100K, no problem.
Yeah,
running. You may as well split the atom. I mean, my God, that's just. Bleh.
Yeah, and a lot of CEOs answered the same. I asked them that like 2 weeks ago, and they said 100K, an ultra run. I don't think 100K is hard in the context that I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it with my friend, my ex-business partner. We started a nootropic company together 10 years ago. We had to shut that one down, but that human being is amazing. So we'll be just joking around. We'll be sharing some AirPods, so like the same music during the full run. So it'll be a party. Plus, I'll be hanging out in a villa in Puerto Vallarta 7 days after. But yeah, I mean, I make it sound easy. I think genetically, like one of my strengths has always been cardio in sports. Couldn't excel in hockey like most Canadians because my parents like subscribed me later on. So yeah, I guess I found something comfortable there, quote unquote. I live in the mountains here in Oaxaca, so I'm training on a daily basis, and it all started, I guess, when I saw the Ironman medals of my ex-business partner's stepdad. So that's a long shot, but ex-partner's stepdad, Ironman Dan, we call him. And we went in Phil's basement and we saw all these medals on the wall. We're like, holy fucking shit. This guy, he did like 40 Ironmans. Just like one is bonkers. And since I saw these medals, I think I was like 18. It was always the back of my mind with Phil that, we're going to complete an Ironman. And then I heard about ultra running with crazy folks like Goggins. I mean, I love Goggins, man. He's such an inspiration. I think he's a modern age sage. A lot of people don't see the wisdom in Goggins. And as an intellectual myself, I see huge wisdom in what this guy is dropping. And as you progress in your career and you read all of them business books and you had all these mentors, these masterminds. I interviewed 2,000 CEOs on my podcast. It's like, okay, the wisdom is harder to find. So how you find it is by imposing pain on yourself. When I'm in a situation of pain, I'm dealing most of the time with my worst self and all my demons comes out, It's like, oh, you should give up. Oh, you should stop. You're hurting. Oh, your little tummy doesn't feel good. Let's go back home, have a cozy meal, or cower down under the pillows and go sleep. But that's how I get my wisdom. So the training for that is organic, plus it adds huge value to my personal and business life. So I think that ultras are, yeah, definitely a humongous plus in my life, especially with the ambitious goals that I have.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt when it comes to Goggins or anybody that really deals with, we all deal with pain, right? We all deal with adversity, and his ability to say, okay, and what? Like, truly embracing the suck is something that, Navy SEALs talk about. Clearly, he's gone through buds, I think, 3 times.
Yeah,
He's
probably.
kind of a badass. You brought up the nootropics business, and we were talking about 100K. And I saw in the bio here, like you lost over 100K in that. And here's which, I never want anybody to lose, but it probably taught you a lot of valuable lessons. But here's my favorite part: that business partner that you lost the money with, you're still a good friend.
Right.
It's not like, look, it didn't work out and you suck and I suck, so we're just not going to be friends anymore. It's like, no, man, it didn't work out. And by the way, you're my buddy. Tell me about that, brother, because
Yeah.
it never is fun losing money. I've definitely done it quite a bit myself. I'm
Yeah.
curious how the experience went for you.
Yeah. So first, yes, I lost 100K, but I gained a triple PhD in entrepreneurship. I mean, that experience was just crazy. Like receiving the first boxes of supplement in my dad's car, and then our first sale on PayPal, $26 Canadian dollars. I'll always remember it. Doing the Facebook ads, and really going guerrilla marketing. We were targeting university by university. So we were targeting students back then. So we would make ads per college. And then we would target the folks going at this college with an image of their college in the background, which was like semi illegal. But yeah, some days we were in the green, some days we were in the red with that business. And yeah, after some time, my partner, I think he wanted to focus on other ventures. It's tough. Business is really tough. It's a long gas marathon. It's an ultra marathon. Um, we decided to put the lock in that one. Now it wasn't, and like yeah, you probably went to that yourself because it wasn't easy for a friendship. That guy started as a best friend for me, and I think we lost both the best friend title after that. Like for example, he had his wedding like 2 or 3 years ago. I wasn't even a best man. So that fucking hurt. It's like, okay, yeah, officially, I mean, maybe I did something wrong. Maybe he did, whatever. It set the clocks at the correct time, and that really hurt my feeling for real. Like, I used to talk with my psychologist, my psychotherapist about that. But yeah, it's recovering. And yeah, we might become best friends again in the next couple of years. And my hopes is also we'll also become business partners because that guy's a hell of a guy. Not only like personally, but he's like really good with numbers. He's a CPA, and I'm really more on the creative and entrepreneurial side of things. So we used to make a kick-ass combo, and I think the main lesson here, guys, is that nowadays I have a product market fit machine. I'm testing hundreds of offers with hundreds of markets to discover that product market fit. And we thought back then quite innocently that a supplement targeting students and a supplement targeting entrepreneurs would be a product market fit. We maybe tried 3 variants, right? I mean, we A/B tested more on the ad side of things, but nowadays it takes me probably 1,000 experiments before I get 3 product market fits. So don't expect success from the get go and have some kind of product market fit machine. In my case, cold email to just A/B test business offers.
Yeah, it is interesting. I've had business partners throughout the years, and whenever you go through that, like a business partner and I, man, we lost over $1 million just after '08. We decided to build a mortgage company. Not a great idea at the time. But, again, it's not like there was anything wrong with him. There wasn't anything wrong with me. It just didn't work. And I love that you see it on like, look, he's a great guy. He's got skills. Clearly, it makes sense for us to be together. We just didn't nail this one. And I hope entrepreneurs hear this. It's like, you're not going to nail the first one. Maybe not the second, maybe not even the seventh, but eventually you can. You have something in here too that I thought was interesting. Scaling from 2,000 employees to AI powered solopreneurship. Am I reading this correctly that you had over 2,000 employees and now you've essentially replaced every human being with AI? Is that accurate, or
Yeah.
I just want to make sure?
Yeah, so the official number I think is more around 1K, but you could argue that with so many freelancers that I worked with and so forth, the number could be like 2K. The point is, I worked with a lot of humans and I A/B tested the model properly, and I couldn't scale it. And just yesterday, there was a past employee of mine that was reaching out to get a testimonial. I talk a lot of shit against employees. I think that AI is the future and pretty much all employees will turn into freelancers. But I gave her a nice recommendation yesterday because she was probably in my top 5%. So an asterisk here would be that some of them were high performers, but I mean that was like probably 5%. And as entrepreneurs, do we really want to take 1 out of 20 bets? Like I think we want to bet on safer bets. So what I observed ultimately in myself back then when I would be an HR master is that I would be lazy. I would be like, okay, I need to fix this problem. I'm just going to hire this person, convince myself that they're great because obviously they're going to do their best work ever to convince me on their interview, right? That they're going to be good, they're going to look good. But then when it comes the time to work, I mean, the first week they might do well, the second more or less, and then they might plateau on week 4, and then I'm like, oh, not again. And then I need to hold on to them, give them a second, a third, a fourth chance, and eventually just let them go. That's what would happen probably 80% of cases. Probably being a bit more extreme in weeks, you can replace with months. But I discovered that just taking the time to creating the systems myself, like literally sitting down and creating that Zap automation or just launching all the campaigns myself on Apollo, that would save me tons of time. And I think it's a righteous crusade, to be like, hey, the employee model's not working. On the company side, I think they're taking advantage of employees. And I think on the employee side, they're taking advantage of their company. I think something that's more fair needs to happen, probably something encrypted in blockchain involving AI at the employee level, something that would dispatch jobs to precise freelancer and be paid per job. But yeah, I think that will truly scale. And as soon as OpenAI showed its face up probably 2 to 4 years ago, I just discovered I could replace probably 80% of my employees. So I was like, okay, this is a major game changer. I'm not the only one doing that as well. And if you also dig deep down into any entrepreneur, you'll find out that they don't really like working with other humans that are low performers. They just convince themselves. And another model out there is that there's huge VC funded companies. So they don't mind investing millions in hopes of finding one A plus plus player, right? There's this saying in Silicon Valley that like one great engineer is worth 10. Well, one engineer using AI is worth 10 or 100 nowadays. So yeah, it's quite the controversial one, but it's a scalable thesis, and I believe it to be right.
Yeah, one of the things I'm hearing, because we've talked about two different things. We talked about the ex business partner, and we're talking about a human being that has skills in an area that you're like, not my thing, man. CPA, numbers, he's got that down. But I'm sure he would utilize AI to his advantage. And then the lower performers, yeah, man, look, this isn't working. This isn't working with me just paying you and you're not performing. At the end of the day, AI has this ability. But what I'm hearing a little bit, Charles, is there's a human being, i.e., yourself, CEO of Top Leads, where you are creating with the use of AI the tools necessary to run the business. I guess the question is, really finding the value, finding somebody that does perform versus those that don't. So when you're looking now, if you were looking for an employee to put their fingers on the AI system that you want, what are you looking for, brother? I'm just curious.
Right. So My favorite model nowadays, I still believe in humans, but entrepreneurial ones, the ones seeking the truth, not necessarily the ones seeking pure money, the ones seeking the truth, because truth will scale. In the age of AGI will know everything about you, everything that you did. It will know your intentions. And once it happens, it might be a totally different system than the one that we're in right now. It might not even be capitalism. It might be you're paid by the good that you release out in this world. So I'm seeking for people seeking the truth and people with good intentions. And how do I get these? It's one of my favorite funnel. You start with a podcast, then you invite the best podcast guest on a monthly mastermind. So I have a monthly CEO mastermind. I invite 10% of my podcast guests. Every month, we discuss insights, accountability, and we support one another. We talk about our problems, our victory, and so forth. And then 30% of these members will convert into my clients. And then what happens once they become my clients? It doesn't end there. Normally, I work on a commission with them afterwards, after they're done, like paying me 3.5K ish for 3 months. And we become business partners after that. And then what happens when we become business partners? They start referring me clients. So you can possibly note here, but they're replacing employees. I'm just working with very talented people. They build their own AI stacks, right? And that replaces the full employee model. And the thing here is that I was spending probably like 35% of my time back then as a CEO interviewing, hiring, nurturing my human resources, even like 50% of my time. I was probably spending 80% of my resources on that. So now that I'm liberated from that, I can spend my time on other stuff like creating content and so forth. So for AI nowadays, I use, for example, Opus to create shorts out of my podcast, or I'll just go on a StreamYard, a live StreamYard, and I'll cut out shorts out of that. I'm really bullish on content. I think that content will scale for the next 5-ish years. And after that, it'll probably topple and it'll become like this low quality stuff. But creating a community, sharing value feels good also. It's pretty ikigai. And people pay me with that afterwards. But yeah, AI is incorporated at every facet of my business. And I think I'm in a good spot to accomplish the $1 billion company that Sam Altman put forward.
So, not knowing your entire story, after the nootropics business, did that then come to Top Leads? How did you discover Top Leads to be like, this is what I'm great at, this is my passion, this is what I'm going to go attack?
Top Leads is not my passion, for the record. Yeah, my passion, like I have 3 to 5 moonshots in this life. Starting from the first one, I want to create my own school, right? A CEO school, a founder school for my children to be educated by entrepreneurs, not like 9 to 5 teachers that follow the system and everything they've been taught. Second is to create a bank in the next 10 years when money is still relevant, right? Because when AGI comes, we're not sure what's going to happen. The third goal is exactly this: create an AGI. But I feel Sam Altman's already onto it and is about to crack it. According to Ray Kurzweil, before 2029, we're going to get AGI. So that's like literally 5 years from now. And that's going to be game changing. Then I want to connect that AGI to the brain, like a Neuralink, like Elon Musk. And I want to live forever. So these are my passion. Like these, if I would have the choice, I would spend 100% of my time on those. Just that I don't want to get VC funded. I don't like authority and having someone telling me what to do and owe money to people. So yeah, I avoid the VC model, which is why I fuel my full ecosystem with this bootstrapped agency called Top Leads. Not only does it provide me money, but I can test my ideas at scale with Top Leads. I can test any product market fits and potentially make money with those. So not only do I manage Top Leads nowadays, but I manage a portfolio of startups. So that's what I'm doing nowadays. How did I get there? I started with various agencies, website creating agencies, AdWords creating agencies, Facebook ads for realtors. I scaled that one to 30K MRR. And finally, I think around COVID, I was more into call centers, and I had 200 employees just for that call center. Misadventure, that one failed hard on its nose as well. Lots of lessons from that one as well. But I tried after that LinkedIn outreach, and then LinkedIn started limiting the connections you could do on a daily basis. So I was like, oh shit, again, I need to pivot. What should I try? I tried cold email. I was like, whoa, this is the holy grail. I can get 10,000 contacts a month and send up to 50,000 emails per month with Apollo and SendGrid. So I could get a bunch of leads, aka a bunch of cash. I could test out all my craziest business ideas. Like nowadays, I'm testing a CEO bunker business, like building bunkers, luxury bunkers for CEOs, and I can have fun. So that's probably the passion in top leads. It's not necessarily making sales, although everyone likes money. It's more like being the mad scientist and testing out a business offer to a specific audience. And yeah, cold email, in my opinion, is the most underrated lead gen method in our modern times.
Yeah. So what I gathered from this is top leads is it funds a lot of your passions, your lifestyle. Like you said, you want to live forever. I know biohacking. You and I talked about that on your show is really important to you. Like, so I'm curious. You live in Oaxaca. You said in Mexico. Originally from Montreal or Canada, somewhere I believe. Um, Tell me about that, man. How'd you end up in Mexico? What was the drawing factor for you to go down there?
Yeah, so always had this addictive personality, if you want. And as a young guy, I came back from this student exchange trip in Hong Kong, which changed my life. And the friends I would hang out with, we would always compete on who could drink the most, get the most ladies, like stupid, um, finite competitions, right? Like this. And yeah, I remember coming back from Hong Kong. I was at my parents' house. I needed to get out of there, and I was hanging out with these friends again, these quote unquote negative influence. And yeah, we partied the hell out, like the night before we did coke and had some hookers, and I lost my car key, and I was fully hangover, and I had to go get it back. And after that, I was like, never again, man. I need a change in my life. I need to get out away from the environment that I was in. My parents' house, uh, yeah, like wasn't getting along well with my parents. I was like, okay, I need a change in this life. So I booked the cheapest Airbnb I found online, which was in Oaxaca, Mexico. It was the sunniest. I had a little balcony, and I booked the flight on my credit card, right? Because I was broke. I had some businesses back then. My main one was the realtor one that I was scaling. I was really afraid to also leave Canada because realtors are really physical people. And then I flew there. I opened Tinder. I met my wife. We decided to go from Oaxaca City to Puerto Escondido, which is on the coast, 1 week together. She wrote me a letter. She's the romantic type. I'm not. But yeah, I love that letter. I was like, and in the letter she was like, I'd like to travel the world with you. I had already booked Costa Rica after that, after Mexico, and I was supposed to travel with a friend that would work for me, but he choked. So Nadia, my wife, took his place, and we decided to travel the world from there: Argentina, Chile, a bunch of cool places in Europe, Spain, Cyprus, Ireland, UK. And yeah, there we are, 6, 7 years after. Married her last year on the beach. And yeah, that's how I came to live here. It's one of my favorite cities in the world, other than Montreal, which I'm natively from. Oaxaca is colorful, has top gastronomy, top art, top people. You should visit, man.
Yeah, the only thing I know about it is I love mezcal, so I will say that they have a great deal of it, is my understanding, made there. So, but yeah, I love Mexico. I think it's cool. Tell me more about the biohacking, man. You and I shared our passion for that. I don't do the ultras or the Ironmans because, well, quite frankly, I think y'all are freaking nuts. Uh, but no, it is incredible. What's some of the best stuff that you've found, man, where you're like, oh, I wish everybody knew to do this. Like you're walking on the treadmill while we're doing a podcast. Everybody listening, it's like, that's not a terrible idea, man. I don't know how many steps you're getting in a day, but you're working out and working. I'm sitting on my ass just interviewing. So you're ahead of me. But what's some of the biohacks that you really have found to be effective for your own personal health?
Yeah, let's do the surrounding of my office here. I think it'll be easier for my brain. I have a pull-up bar, so every time I go under it, I need to do pull-ups. Pull-ups are probably the best exercise for the upper parts of your body. I also have these push-up bars on the floor. Push-ups are probably the next best. After that, they incorporate the full muscle. I put on this weighted vest there. It's 40 pounds. I sometimes walk with it. I do pull ups and push ups with it. So that's quite great. Then on my left here, I have some compression boots. Compression boots, they're probably the best thing ever if you're a runner. They compress your legs and make you feel like super good, super relaxed. You could sleep on these. It feels so good. It's like a leg massage. Plus, you don't need to have a massagist like come near your crotch with their hands, It's just kind of awkward. Um, then on the running side of things, the greatest hack that I found to not get knee injuries, because my first complete Ironman, I limped to the finish line. It is to wear Vibram barefoots. So at first, these shoes are incredibly counterintuitive. First, they take like 5 minutes to put on each. When you first put them on, they're very awkward. But if you train with them, if you're patient, at first you won't be able to run more than a kilometer. If you train with them, your foot it becomes really strong, and then your knee starts adapting to that, because your knees get fucked up mostly when you run, because at the disequilibrium level, at the ankle level, and at the foot level, these cushion shoes most of the time they don't help. Now, substances that we have here in my office, creatine's a classic, BCAA. I have a pre-workout. Sometimes when I don't even have time to do a coffee, I'll just take a pre-workout. I don't take caffeine after 2, because then I'll just get thinking in the bed. Got some krill oil here. We've got my sponsors, Qualia. It's probably the best nootropic for the brain. In this coffee cup, we have coffee, cacao, ginger, and what else? Oh, yeah, curcumin with some probiotics, right? So that one's quite intense. And I drink probably 15 teas a day. I'm a tea man, like my stepmom, she calls me Mr. T. My favorite brand is Twinnings. So yeah, a variety of teas, but yeah, that's probably the what we have in this office. And then if we go downstairs, we have like other supplement stack. Nowadays, I'm quite bullish on Torn as a supplement brand. They sponsor the UFC. They're quite clean. I also am sponsored by Biooptimizers, somewhat of a good quality of supplement. So yeah, that's probably 50% of my biohacking regimen.
I'll be damned. Have you found a specific diet that you've followed, i.e., you just follow vegetarian, or you're all meat, carnivore, or is there something that you found? Because again, when you're doing these ultras, man, you're fueling your body, and I don't think, especially we were talking about this, my wife and I, because we just got back from Europe. The stuff that we have in the States, man, we're just littered with shit.
Yeah.
I can't speak specifically to Mexico. I'm assuming it's much cleaner.
It's worse. No, it's worse.
Is it worse? Damn.
Yeah. Well, it depends. Like if you go in the supermarkets, it's worse, for sure. And if you shop in Shoppers Market, or I think that's what it's called, or if like the special natural store, you're gonna get a clean diet. But yeah, generally Mexico, that's a big problem. In the poorer area, especially of Mexico, in the supermarket, it's all shit food. So yeah, you guys have it easy compared to us here. But yeah, my diet, I wouldn't go carnivore. because I'd lack like the greens, which are pretty much essential. But I think carnivore is a great diet. Like me, when I eat a specific piece of meat, a big ribeye steak, I feel like I've had 2 cups of coffee because of the amino acids in there. The diet I'm gonna hate on is definitely the vegetarian and all that bullshit. I don't think that works. I think in very simple terms as well. My ancestors, they were hunters. I'm a hunter. I'm a pit bull. I don't eat veggies, and I'm not a rhino. I'm not like a gorilla or whatever. Like I'm a carnivore. I eat other living things and not afraid to say it. That's my nature. Sure, I want to hack it because I don't believe in the ethics of that, but that's who I am right now. So I just lack the knowledge, I guess, to be a vegan. And 99.9% of humans do because I'm quite smart. I've tried keto diet for a solid 3 years. This one wouldn't scale with my gut because it was so much oil. I would run these marathons and literally shit myself. So I don't recommend that one for ultras. My diet nowadays, it's quite weird. If you study the number one Brazilian jiu-jitsu in the lightweight class, Mikey, Italian name, I'm probably gonna botch it, but Mitumichi or something like that. I have the same exact diet as him. It's bread and cheeses, and it's fancy breads and fancy cheeses. It's like sourdough. Obviously, I have my steak every now and then. Um, I have people to cook for me here in Mexico and eat like probably the local foods. But I love bread. My body is made to digest like sourdough bread, French, Irish, English ancestry. So yeah, and my mom, I mean, she's always like eating cheeses and breads, and I'm really much like her descendant, like more than I am my dad's. Although I do have my dad's intellect and brain and so forth. But yeah, that's my weird diet, and it scales with the ultra. One thing that most people don't know is that the shit they feed you in Ironmans and ultra and Spartans. I'm about to do a Spartan ultra in 1 month. That is crap, man. It's like Gatorades and gels and all that kind of bad stuff. I was actually thinking of launching a food company that would cater to these events. It would be probably the worst company ever in terms of margins, but I think they should feed us better stuff. It's just that Pepsi and all these companies, they're like always willing to uh, pay for free, basically, for to distribute their shit products, right? Like if I talk to Joe DeSena, like he'll be like, yeah, easy business decision. They cover literally like 15 to 30K in food or and beverage expenses for my event. So I'm definitely not gonna pay to have this fancy company there. So what I'm getting at here is that my diet is also adapted to their shit food, unfortunately. So I have these gels here in my office that I'm sipping on a daily basis. And what's in these gels is mostly shit. It's like pure carbs. There's caffeine in there. These GU gels, and I need to adapt my gut to these so I can perform well. Unfortunately, in these events, because else, if I'm not accustomed, I'll just like squeeze a gel at the events. Then I'm gonna shit myself again, which is not nice.
Yeah, it is interesting because you guys are putting so much, you're burning so many calories that you're just refilling with the highly processed shit.
Yeah,
And if you actually think about it, you guys need dense, nutritious, good food
yeah.
far more than those of us that aren't doing these things sitting on our asses. So it is pretty interesting. And you're able to stay in shape because you're burning so many calories. All right. God, you're such an interesting guy. I could go so many ways. I'm curious. French Canadians seem to have this real innate ability of just saying, look, I don't care if you don't like this. I'm going to be direct. Is that something culturally that you guys just learn up in Quebec? I'm just curious because I find this to be, you're very kind. The manners are great, but you speak your minds. Is that something? I don't know Quebec well enough to say, yeah, man, that's like natural. I don't know.
I don't think so. I don't identify myself much as a Quebecer. More, I identify myself more as an American, like probably Silicon Valley-ish mentality, and Canadian. I have some Canadian in me, especially like Toronto region. Read a book called the Quebec Codes about a decade ago, and yeah, the Quebecois are not really. Well, I don't have much flattering things to say about them. Now, to your question, I think I've always been that way, and as I'm chasing authenticity rather than looking good PR, I'm really seeking to unite with my kind as well, like highly entrepreneurial, high performance people, and I don't care much about what the majority has to say about me. I'm just like always all in when it comes to what I have to say. I might be wrong, by the way, in many things that I say, but I need feedback from it. I need to hear it from other folks. But yeah, most of the hate that I get online is, yeah, like as soon as you're hating someone, it sort of disqualifies what you have to say. But I'm still taking some of that feedback now. Yeah, like Quebec people, their qualities, I think we're very good at arts. Okay, if you check like the top billionaires in Quebec, we have Guy Laliberté, Cirque du Soleil, and we have Celine Dion, right? We're very good at art. We're not good at business. Canada is way too much of a socialist country to even stand a chance against the US. Actually, most countries in the world stand zero chance against the US. I think being straight up and honest is also a US thing. I find way more flattering things in US people than places from other places in the globe. But yeah, I definitely don't get a lot of hate in the US. That's for one. And two, I think that US people make great, they make fast decision in business. While in Quebec, like some person might take like 6 to 12 months. They don't have the same philosophy with money. They're more careful spender. I'm not a careful spender. I'm an experimenter, and I'm always like all in. So yeah, but yeah, Quebec's a nice place though. Montreal's really nice. I would recommend for you to visit. It's not necessarily the Montreal culture. It's just that we have a bunch of immigrants in Montreal, which is great. We'll have amazing food. We'll have people from India that can tell you about crazy stories that happened to them in India. That's the great thing about Canada. That's the thing I'm most proud of Canada. If anything, it's immigration, while Trump is really fucking up immigration in the US.
Yeah, I guess I've just run into a lot of you guys that have this because it sounds good, man. With a little bit of the accent, you're like, I'm going to say this, and it's brutally honest. I'm like, I like it. God, brothers, we're starting to wrap up here. Again, my paper, if you see in my notes, it's all over the map. I'm curious. Best piece of business advice. You said go all in. I heard that twice. So clearly that's part of your DNA that's made you both successful and had failures, but ultimately land successfully. What else would you say is like if you could say to everyone that's as chasing that dream, really finding their authenticity, what is it that you think really has allowed you to have success in business?
Yeah, go all in is definitely a good one. Start a business, and go all in into that business. Do not seek employment. Be fearless. You'll have haters criticizing your work, but just keep on moving forward and open your ears. Look at what people are telling you and adapt off that. The sooner you can do it, the better, because yes, it is painful. You'll learn to deal with pain. A good hack to deal with pain is go crunch a marathon, sign up for a marathon in like 2 months from now. You'll have a better relationship with pain. You'll develop a lot of wisdom. And then when I think about that question is like, what do I wish that I would have had at school? The ability to meditate, to calm my nerves down and to disconnect myself from the noise, the ability to forge relationships and to go long term with a woman rather than trying to go left and right with everyone. What else? Yeah, and building relationships with people, having a co-founder, and just being nice and loving to your family, I guess, are really undervalued skills. And yeah, trying to do good and to add value to others. I see a lot of people nowadays excuse themselves from adding value out there. They're like, oh, I'm not in the position to give value. Yeah, you're just scared. um, and if you don't try, if you don't A/B test and see it to try to add value to others and see what's valuable, you won't get anywhere. So try to be valuable, because that's what business is, right? Business is not about being a shark and being an opportunist, a warmonger, or anyone trying to profit. It's really adding value. So that would be my business advice to people out there. And yeah, if you've been in business on and off, and if you've struggled, you're at a good place. Some people, depending on the mental models that they're applying their business, they might be successful in 40, 50 years from now. Some of them might not ever be successful because they're just stubborn and they're not onto the right experiment. So also observe and be honest with yourself. But yeah, I'll go with that.
No, it's good stuff, man. If people wanted to find you, Charles, whether it's top leads or they want to support your passions in life, whether it's the school, which I think is a fantastic idea, or, again, some of the biohacking, the ultras, where's the best place for them to connect with you?
Yeah, charlescormier.com or Charles Cormier on Google.
Brother, I appreciate you so much. I love the way you show up, man. It's unapologetically you, and it's really fun to have interviews like that. So thank you for coming on, sharing the wisdom, brother, and keep getting your steps in and crushing life.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Guys, we covered a lot. I mean, God, we talked about AI, talked about losing money, talked about biohacking, diet. I mean, literally, I'm telling you, my notes are all over the map, but such an interesting way to go about life. I love how he is truly unapologetically, this is who I am, this is my beliefs. Some people hate it, that's okay. I'm going to show up as me. Make sure to share this with someone that you care about. I think anybody listening can get a ton from this. And until next time, remember, your mindset matters. I appreciate y'all. We'll talk to you soon.